How many of you have ever visited the Georgia Aquarium, the Ocean Ballroom at the Georgia Aquarium? Not just the aquarium, but the Ocean Ballroom. Let me see hands if you've seen that room. If you've ever been there, it is similar to any other ballroom, except one of the walls, the wall behind you as you sit watching the presentation, is actually one of the largest fish tanks in the aquarium. That's the whole wall. And on the other wall is a side of the dolphin tank, an enormous dolphin tank. Now, the other night, I was there for the Center for Civil and Human Rights annual Power to Inspire banquet. The speakers were formidable: a renowned farm worker justice activist, the CEO of Georgia Pacific, a U.S. Olympic gold medalist, and finally, Ambassador Andrew Young also spoke. Yet, I could not help but feel disoriented in that room, like the fish were watching us swim around in our ballroom, moving to and fro, some of us in groups like a school, others on our own, gliding along in shiny, colorful dresses, floating with wine glasses in hand, smartphones. For our graduates this morning, Kolya, Alex, and Sally, Unitarian Universalism is the water they swim in, and always have. They have always been raised with the assumption that their voices would be respected and that their faith journeys would be taken seriously. UU minister Victoria Safford writes, "Ours is a saving church, and by that I mean that lives are saved within it." People say that. They use that old vocabulary. They say, "I never knew there was a place like this where I could be accepted." They say, "I never knew there could be a congregation that believed as I do." They say, "I walked out of the church as soon as I was old enough, but until I came here, I had no idea how deeply I was longing for connection to other people and also to the sacred." They say, "I was a spiritual shipwreck, and I'm still drifting, but at last, I have a home." These graduates today have never not known there was a church where they would be accepted. They have only known a church where they would be loved beyond belief, encouraged to question further, to love more deeply, to never stop questioning a conviction. They have only known a church where their birth was a blessing, their worth unquestioned. They have only known a church that told them, whomever you love, whatever your gender identity, you are welcome here, and you are beloved. See, sometimes inside of this sanctuary, it can feel like that ballroom the other night. We are trying our hardest to give a speech that will inspire someone. We are trying to look our best, trying to harness the power to inspire. And the youth, well, they're just surrounding us. They're just swimming in the UU water. They're born into it. They're breathing it in. And they're understanding with their very being what the rest of us try to learn throughout our lives, through philosophy or self-help or right action or relationship. So this threshold of graduation, it's a moment to consider what kind of life you will live. The writer James Baldwin says, "One can give nothing whatsoever without giving oneself. That is to say, risking oneself. If one cannot risk oneself, then one is simply incapable of giving." Unitarian Universalism is the water our youth swim in, and because these youth were born into the safety of this community, well, they have all the strength of us behind them. encouraging them to risk themselves, thus giving themselves to the world. See, because they have us, they can risk themselves. They can give themselves. Now, like fish out of water, they might struggle a little bit at first to find their place in the family of things, wherever they go. But of course, they can seek other UU communities or other campus fellowships. Of course, they can always come home again, back to us. Whether today is your first day as a member of Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, or whether it is your last day as a part of the UUCA youth group, we offer ourselves to your journey. We are the solid ground you will need to risk yourself, to give yourself to this community, or to give yourself to the world. Because the world needs you now more than ever. Amen.